Good morning, patriots. Good morning, lying road pirates. Good morning, criminal cartel that is the town office, all of its employees who do the wrong thing, because we the people are supreme. Not them, not the police. That's how our founding fathers set up the Constitution, that we the people have ultimate control. And the cops are out there shoveling, see that?
Copy command, all companies clear, command terminated.
Check it out. So, last night I went live on my actual Facebook page and not accountability. And I kind of spilled some stuff that, I probably shouldn't have talked about. I deleted it. Deleted the post. It was heartwarming. I talked to everybody who was on there like they were family and were in the know, because they are, and that hurt other people's feelings. And I was so open. I've been really open with everybody about everything that's happened. And I'm not going to get into any details about that. The important part here is the preparation for what I'm going to do this morning and today. I'm supposed to have a meeting with Dallas Staples, and we may go over to the town office if it's open and spend a few minutes walking around, talking to any employee that comes in today. It's a snow day. They might not open the town office, and we could be thwarted that way. So I don't feel like it's a big deal to reveal our intent. Perhaps if it's closed, this would be enough of a notice, right? Like I called the town office, and Julie. I tried to talk to Julie Hines, but it was one of the assistants or whatever, and I got to finally say my stuff to the town council, right? Because I can't ever make those meetings without missing work, and that would hurt my family to go there and express my rights that have been thwarted, right? Through a conspiracy between the town hall and the police to mutilate and conceal public records, right? To hurt, with the intent to hurt me, because the police do the wrong thing, hurting people in custody like Nathan Dalton and the 17-year-old girl, December 18th. And they are concealing this evidence. Oh no, the DA has it now. You still have it. You have that evidence. And you should make it public. Show the police, show what the police do, right? The horrible thing that they've done, right? Attempted murder. Right here in Brunswick, Maine. Attempted murder of a 17-year-old. And their intent, we're going to give that to the DA's office so they don't have to release it. That's why they did that. Somebody was injured, and this is an employee problem. We're going to bury it like we did the Garrett Decker one. Worked last time, right? Now, Garrett Decker, fine man, made a mistake, hurt somebody in custody. Christopher Wolongvic's sister, who worked for the police department, also had to resign to bury that employee problem, right? I'm sure that she's working somewhere else and has another good job, right? Funniest audit was at that the bank robbery on Main Street, and they used the dog. She commanded the dog and brought it around to look for the robbery suspect. And the dog, right in front of me, we were both laughing about it. We all had a good laugh together. The dog was eating the gum off the street. He wasn't too interested in looking for the suspect. Yeah, he was more interested in smelling the trees and where dogs had peed and stuff like that. He wasn't too interested in doing his job. They're animals, and that was an endearing moment. And you know, she always had a nice smile and was respectful. I never had a problem with Carrie. And to my knowledge, nobody else did. She treated my wife with respect at the bar room when she got in a little tussle with somebody. And, you know, I don't want to reveal too much, but, you know, that was a good experience and everything was fine. Not to get off track, the idea is that this and the town office operate as an illegal cartel, keeping all the stuff, all the good stuff, secret. But yet they're going to show capturing the emu the next day, right? They have the video of that attempted unaliving of a 17-year-old juvenile. And they could completely give it to the TV news and say, we're sorry, this is never going to happen again. Right? We've taken care of it. That employee doesn't work for us anymore. We'd have mad respect for that. You know? Nobody wanted to see this ridiculousness. You should make a public announcement about this today. Right? And what else should happen? You should sell the Bearcat, get our $400,000 back, because you don't need that to destroy the citizenry of Brunswick, Maine, or to defend the police from, you know, you should have fixed the old one. The military gave you an armored vehicle. You should have put a LS motor in it for $5,000. It's not like the body rusted out. It was a reliability issue. The diesel motor was giving you guys trouble. I believe those are 6.2 diesel engines made by General Motors. Right? There was nothing wrong with the body on that. It would have protected your people. And to spend $400,000 while we have people living on the street in their automobiles, some of which you've impounded. I think Lena Pelkey and Ray Bear, you took their van that they were living in. Right? You You impounded their van, took their vessel away. That was their house. Just like the Chili De Castro video I showed the other night. They're living in there. That's their house. And you're taking it and bothering them. Over what? The tag's out? What does that matter? Have some humanity. Right? Keep your shit together. Right? You're not policing the town to destroy people's lives and leave them stranded and standing on the corner. Right? How much damage to the psyche of the poor population is it to be controlled and destroyed by tyrannical policing? Right? We want ethical policing. Every single one of us, there's no question, want reasonable, ethical policing, which is why I advocated for common law constables. Because there's none of that pressure that's put on you for performance numbers, because it's not quotas anymore. Wouldn't want to say that. But if an officer, let's say, didn't write any tickets and generate any cash for the city, after a couple, 3 months, they'd be sat down in the office and be like, what are you doing out there? How come you're not writing any tickets? Because he's operating ethically. He doesn't want to hurt those people. Right? Hey, buddy, fix your taillight. Get that fixed tomorrow. Hey, I got a bulb on me. I'll get out and fix it right now. Right? That's me. That's me. And you let Nathan Day lay into me for $152 over a $2 light bulb. Right? To generate money for the state and the city coffers. Lining their pockets with our cash. Right? That's not ethical policing. Right? This is simple stuff, guys. Very, very simple stuff. Right? And the town council, what do? You know? They spent $300,000 fighting me. A 60-year-old man who's advocating for all the citizens' rights. Hey, don't hurt my people in custody, or I'm going to write a complaint. Right? Complaints that go unanswered. I wrote a complaint over Anthony Alvarez being jerked off his feet by one arm, injuring him. He was hotboxed in the police car, turned the radio up, ignored over his request for medical attention. That is offensive. Offensive. And why I continued to audit police. Right? You got to operate ethically, because we the people are supreme. And that's why I can write a complaint on the behalf of someone else. As I've done, 23 complaints. One for Courtney Mickles in the police station, getting the handcuffs slapped on her wrist, black and blued her wrist. Come on, guys. She was upset because you hurt her people and came in there and made a complaint. That's redress of lying government. Redress of government. You have a right to assemble and redress these people for this shit. Right? That's what I'm doing right now. This is a redress of lying government, the police, and the town. And I want everybody to make those phones ring. You know the right ones. Stop this bullshit. Public embarrassment over December 18th, right? We've gone to POR. I don't know if they ever did the story, but they said they were gonna, so I believe they did broadcast the story of what happened December 18th, right? A Brunswick police officer tried to unalive a 17-year-old. I'm told Channel 6, Channel 13, they all know. And Channel 6 told me they applied for those FOIA requests for that. Right? Admit your wrongdoing. Say you've taken care of the problem. Right? And we all need to get together and force them to have a Brady list in the state of Maine, since we don't have one. And you can't report them for doing these unethical things, so that they may keep it an employee problem and the officer can go somewhere else and get a job after nearly killing someone. Right? It's about doing the right thing. That's why I advocate for all the people who've been injured in custody. You've been putting the handcuffs on way too tight. Somebody's hand turns blue, you're doing it wrong. It's unethical. No honor. A violation of your oath of office. Once the handcuffs are on somebody, you're responsible for their health and well-being, because they no longer have control over themselves. You've taken their rights away. Deprivation of their rights. This is so simple, I don't need to look at a script or anything. This is why I started doing audit. You treated me wrong. It was unethical. February 20th. And I ain't the only one. My wife, who I love so much, was treated very well several times by members of law enforcement. Gave her a ride home after the incident at the Barking Spider back in the time. I believe that was Carrie Longvic. Treated her very good. Gave her a ride home. Right? They said they were joking and laughing together as they gave her a ride home. Right? And the other time was 2014, where she got arrested. I'm not going to say why or any of that. And she was treated pretty badly in the police station. Right? Said that she had to squat and pee in the floor while male officers looked through the window at her. Oh, yes, they did. Right? I've known about it since then. Known all about it. Right? That's a funny thing how we, the people, talk about all kinds of things. And we all complain and talk to each other about the unethical, immoral, deprivation of rights. Multiple people have said handcuffs too tight. Like in the Chili DeCastro video, where he sticks his finger The cop puts the cuffs on, and you can stick your fingers right in. That ain't how the cuffs go on me. That's 100% true. I had black and blue rings around my wrists from February 12th. Oh no, those handcuffs weren't too tight. Not too tight. Yeah, they were. Yeah, despite my shoulder surgeries, they were too tight. Right? You should go and buy some of the soft cuffs and use those 90% of the time, 99% of the time. They have them with a strap that goes around your waist, and it restrains both your hands so that you couldn't put the chokehold on somebody. It's not just around the wrists. It goes around your waist and it links together. I didn't find any pictures of those, but I know they have those. And they are for law enforcement. And they're humane. It's not painful. You can sit down in a normal manner and be comfortable and in restraints. It's humane. It's not to torture the slaves. Right? We are wage slaves. If we don't go to work, we're out on the street. Or we'll end up in a cage. Right? I had that talk right after the headlight ticket by Page with Adam Merrill, because he was around the corner. He was like laying in wait for me to drive away. I'm like, so I went over to confront him. Are you going to try and give me another ticket? Of course he wasn't, but it was about saying it to him, right? And I know Paige Michaud was upset after that stop because I laid into her because she was being unethical. You're operating and you're doing this the wrong way. You're not acting the way a police officer should. You can't threaten somebody with arrest. Section 42, 12203, coercion against rights. You're going to sign this or I'm going to bust your window out and arrest you. That's unethical. And the deprivation of my rights and coercion against my rights. I have a right to travel in my Fourth Amendment peace in my automobile and feel safe and secure in my papers and things. My papers and things are my license, insurance. You don't need to see that until I've committed a crime. But that isn't how the unethical, immoral Brunswick police operate. You get me? I'm right. I've always been right. I am the symptom, and the Brunswick police are the disease. The town council and the town employees all are leeches sucking the lifeblood out of the citizenry in a disgusting display of a criminal cartel feeding off the people, eating their corpses. Right? Our straw man is murdered when you bring it into court. Right? They are considered lost at sea when they enter the bar, cross the bar. That's what that is. That's the ship's rail. You're considered drowned under the law. Right? Because the judges fire cannons at you. Judges fire cannons when you have a criminal case, and that's what they do. They fire cannons because they are a pirate ship. Right? But they're not supposed to say that it's maritime admiralty law. They say administrative law. That's what Judge Keith Wolf did. And now we know why. Because we're not in the military. And if he said it was admiralty maritime law, then he'd be in the wrong. So he says administrative law instead. It's the same thing. They absolutely are. Michael McNamara, nice. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, you on your way to work? Bring them on camera. Well, I'm gonna go meet with Dallas here in a bit. I gotta check my phone messages. I'm gonna end the live soon, and I just wanted to say all of these things. I got, 3.5, 4 hours sleep. I had to stop driving the skid steer because I was falling asleep at the wheel, and I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't want to crash. I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to hurt somebody or do anything like that, especially where they just had that crash injury with the forklift. We're operating heavy equipment. We all have talked about it, and we want to be very careful not to hurt our fellow employees. And, during snow removal, I told my new supervisor, who isn't even supervising us yet, he was just in the office and stuff, and introduced himself. And the first thing I told him was, if you're out there in a snowstorm, don't do what Smiling Bob used to do and walk around in his slippery bean boots in a white coat. You can't see very good out of those pieces of equipment, right? You can easily walk beside the loader and the driver have no idea you're standing there. And if he cut the wheel, the wheels would reach out and suck you right in. And you get crushed under the wheels. Those are giant pieces of equipment. Even out here on the streets and parking lots, you want to keep yourself safe. If you want to talk to that employee, you stay way, way, way back. And you signal them. Signal them with crossed arms. And you beckon that you're going to come over and talk to them. And everybody does the same exact stuff. They put it in park. Right? They idle the motor down. And they open the window so they can talk to you. That's how you approach somebody that's in a giant machine that can run you over. Okay? That's how you operate to speak with somebody. And that's what I reiterated to our new guy. He came from Portsmouth, the sub facility over there. And there's no union over there, I believe that's correct. And their headlights are completely covered with snow. And there's a lot of snow on the roof. And they cut the whole corner. Where did they come from? Yep, they drove in and cut through here to avoid the light. And did a roll and stop right in front of my camera. Yeah. If you know them, tell them that the police have a camera right there too. Like I said, they could easily AI generate tickets from that and fill the city's coffers with all the traffic violations happen right here on camera. Running the red light, all that shit is on camera right there, buddy boys. Big Brother's watching all the time. And so same with the town office. Okay, so 6:25. I don't know how early Dallas's appointment is, but I can't wait to see him. It's been a while. He's a character. He's got mad passion about what I'm talking about. For years, he's done this for 20 years. He ain't afraid. Just like I ain't afraid. Right? Because of my fear of driving after 2020 is why I discovered, I went on YouTube, what do you do in a traffic stop and stuff like that, and I learned my rights, and I found Spittin' Cobra, and He cusses the cops out all the time. Shut your effing mouth. I don't gotta stand over there. I ain't gotta do any of that. Right? Because those cops understand that it's not disorderly conduct to cuss the cops. Right? I refrain from it because I don't want to get those racketeering tickets for exercising my rights, like flipping the chief off. He threatened me with arrest in the town hall because I flipped him off and got his attention so that I could tell him, hey, where's Officer Days assaulting me? Where's that video? Right? In defiance of me doing that, I didn't get that video until discovery in federal court 2 years, 2 months later. Right? That's conspiracy against rights, bigger than shit. You conspired with the town. Fran Smith's done a million times, tons of this stuff. I told her, turn herself into police. You operate unethically. You won't insist that these guys fill these FOIA requests. FOAA requests have no teeth whatsoever in the state of Maine. Ridiculous. They were working on that and haven't heard another word about it. Right? They were talking about going 30 days to respond. 30 days is a lot of time to edit, modify, mutilate U.S. Code 2071, federal crime to mutilate public records. And they're doing it every single day, every single officer, with mutilation of the radio transmissions. Every one of you is operating unethically. My citizens arrested that officer last week in the lobby of the police station for continuing to mutilate public records. And this is how I'm right. And everything I say is the truth. We the people are supreme. We run the fucking town, not the town council. Not the town clerk. She's committed federal crimes. She's a nice enough lady, but we the people are supreme. I didn't go in there live on camera to confront you about October 7th that time. That's a dramatic ass video right there. Where is the damn lawyer who's reviewing all this evidence? You told me right on camera. Oh yeah, the lawyer's reviewing all this evidence and it's modified without timestamp. And oh, we don't see anything wrong with this, Mr. Cantrell. Even Abby King, my selectman, right? I think she's related to Senator King, huh? No, that wouldn't be true. I am pretty sure it is. Right? You know, I met him standing in line getting my dog its rabies shot. He was standing right in front of me, talked to him, everything. Nice enough man. I've reached out to him a couple of times in emails. Right? I've gone to all kinds of people. FOIA request ombudsman. I talked to them till I was blue in the face. Repeatedly, still sending them stuff. I have a mass text on my phone. Oh, the sheriff is going through with his blue lights on. Or is that BIW security? They weren't flashing, so they're not emergency lights, right? That's why you guys do that now. I've advocated for that. Don't use your emergency lights unless it's emergency. So when they're on, it's solid blue. It's a compliance light, right? It's still putting your true light out, right? Because you have to shut down and you can't move forward, which is an arrest. Doesn't matter how long it is. Those temporary detainments are an arrest. 100%, it's an arrest. Anytime you're deprived of your freedom to travel, it's an arrest. Look it up in the dictionary. Right? If you can't move anymore, you've been deprived of your right to travel. Okay? That's why it's felony use of emergency lights when there's no emergency to write you a racketeering ticket. No, I don't want to give you any ID. I didn't commit a crime. You see? On foot, you're allowed to do that. I ain't going to give you shit. F off. Right? But no, when you're driving your car, your straw man, who they're going to drown in court and murder to plunder his estate, exactly what I told him, produce the death certificate. Or dismiss this. Nope. Nope, we're going to take that capital murder, right? And then when you request a public notice of treason and have the judge step down, they reject it and send it back to me. That's what they did, right? I could sue the friggin' state over that, and I intend to. I'm going to expose the whole state over that ridiculous $152 ticket brought to its fruition in court, where they threatened me with $500 fine because I didn't pay it before court. DMV threatened to suspend my license. DMV voided my license because I wrote 1-308 on it, UCC code, to protect my rights. DMV operates and practices law without a license, are 100% unethical. I am 100% allowed to write that on my license to protect my rights. I can also put a postage stamp on it and put because my address is on there. Now it's a postage thing, and I am the postmaster delivering mail. There's like 40 different laws, federal laws, that the officer breaks to even stop you. That's why I did that to my license, and they voided it, right? They are the ones who are unethical and violating federal law. And I'm going to call them all out on it. And yep, I'm sorry, I'm going to type that up, and I'm going to sue the state for millions of dollars, just like I did the police, right? I'm going to do it pro se again. I'm going to be relaxed and calm, and it's not pressing. I'm not in any hurry. Right? I have all the paperwork. I have my voided license. I have the statute that they used to violate my rights. They circled it and sent it to me. But they didn't send it to me beforehand. They were going to let my license go void and then have the Brunswick police unethical thugs impound my vessel and take me off the streets. I had to call DMV and ask, why the hell haven't I received my star license so that I may travel to Florida and help my wife when her mom passed away this year. Terrible blow to her. Personally, she'll never be the same. That hurt her inside. The entire trip was surreal for me. There was no joy in going around in Florida. We were unable to save the feral cat that her mom had been feeding for years and taking care of her. She was a beautiful, beautiful cat, but she was afraid of people, and we couldn't capture her. We nearly got her inside before we left. We would have caged her and taken her with us. That hurt our hearts. I hope one of the neighbors is taking care of that cat. And that was a 30-hour drive in the U-Haul towing her mom's car back. If not soon, we could register that and drive it around with honor her. And it really wasn't worth the cost of the trailer to bring it home. It's a rust-free 2000 Honda CRV with 190,000 miles on it. Runs beautiful, drives good. It's got nice new tires on it, four-wheel drive. It'd be really good to have it right now so she don't have to drive her Camaro in the snow and salt and destroy it. And if I need to try and get that done so that she can stop driving a car, her precious car. Beautiful 2016 RS Camaro. That thing would outperform any of these police cars, I guarantee it. So back in August, my wife was driving her Camaro through a school zone over here, right down the road here from the police station, through that school zone, and Nathan Day was inches from her bumper trying to make her speed through the 15-mile-an-hour school zone and had turned his dash camera off. Right? Because I asked the town clerk, he's harassing her because of me. Unethically, immorally, being a tyrant, tried to threaten her when he gave her a ticket earlier this year, pulled her over in my Jeep after leaving our dear dying friend over there on on the entrance to the highway. I think it's Mill Street. Her apartment is in a known drug area, and Nathan Day asked her if she'd been drinking, tried to get her out of the car. There was no need of any of that. She did what all the other drivers around her were doing. She didn't exceed the speed limit more than 2 or 3 miles an hour, and he was trying to write her as many tickets as he could. He wrote a $142 ticket, and I was like, I want to fight this. And she's like, no, you're going to just damn well pay it. I don't want to have issues with my license. I don't want this to go anywhere else. And she wouldn't let me fight it. Okay? And I understand why. You know, that's your straw man account, and you got to keep him above water and not let him drown in court. Right? Not let them commit capital murder and plunder your state. You just pay it and keep him out of the Admiralty water law that they use against us all. So, all right, I've said enough. Tons of stuff is going on here. Still going after people. The big reveal was that Skylar and her boyfriend, his car impounded, a beautiful sedan with dark tint, black car, black tint. Nathan Day did impound it, and I'm going to give a shout out to Atlantic Coast Towing. I guess the owner, Chris, gave them their car back free of charge, and I am impressed. That shows that you guys got a heart. From my other statements and all the other people who've complained, they're one of the only few that you guys did that for them. I'm sure they didn't have the money to pay for all of those things, right? Impoundment and all that, and all those $600 worth of tickets, and I mean, holy smokes, these are tiny people trying to afford an apartment. You could make them homeless over that. They could lose their car and their job and their apartment, just like Charles Bolton. Right? And that was Nathan Day. He laid in wait all around my house. I rousted him out of there a bunch of times. But, I can't do anything to stop him from coming over there and laying and waiting for my people. That ain't my stuff. Right? I knew what he was going to do. I knew it. I told the kids before they left, he's laying in wait. He's up the road. And they tried going the other way to avoid him. And he proceeded to fall upon them and overtake their vehicle when they were not speeding, not doing anything wrong. And they put Sam in handcuffs for 8 minutes until Cumberland County Sheriff showed up and goes, "What the hell are you doing, Mr. Nathan Day? You got no crime here, and this poor man is in cuffs in agony because they're way too tight." Right? If it had been any longer, it would have caused permanent nerve damage in his hands. You look at those photos, and you get that in the pit of your stomach. Oh my God. Those are oh my God pictures of somebody's wrists. That's what Chili DeCastro was talking about. His hands turned blue. And they were, I think he said 30 minutes in handcuffs. And they cut the circulation right off. That's unethical, immoral, wrong. Right? Can we do better than metal cuffs on 99% of the people who've got to be going in handcuffs? Yep, we can. You could do like Chili says. You could do the soft cuffs. You could put those fabric cuffs on with the belt around the waist. The Velcro ones would probably be enough for most people. And they have double locks. They said so. I don't really know how they work. I haven't looked at them up close. Not into bondage and discipline. Right? And handcuffing behind the back is also a sexual position for bondage, because you have complete control over their body like that, and it's a homosexual fantasy to handcuff behind people's back by another man. Okay? Right? That's why people should be handcuffed in front. I'm advocating for that today. I don't want to ever see handcuffs behind people's back, or I'm going to say you're satisfying your homosexual fantasy while you're handcuffing behind his back, and you're going to rub your penis against his butt cheeks in your and satisfy your fantasies. That's what's happening when a man gets behind another man and puts handcuffs behind his back. That is a homosexual fantasy enacted out. Now you have control over him. There's nothing he can do. You can have your way with him. Right? That's what's really going on. Stop handcuffing people behind their back today. Stop the mutilation of public records. Buy some soft cuffs. Sell the $400,000. That's what we were looking for last night. Is the armored car. Sell that bloody thing. Buy a beater used one, so that you have one in case there's a shooting situation and you can protect your guys. I get that. Right? We didn't need to spend $400,000. We could have bought a piece of property at Cook's Corner that's now being a church. And that facility has lots of bathrooms, lots of places for people to be, a movie theater. You could play movies in there. That would have been a perfect homeless shelter. You could have put a police substation in there, right? The town should have bought that instead of the $400,000 armored car. Should have fixed your old one. I don't know if you still have that one, or if you sold it for scrap, foolishly, right? But you just need an armored vehicle, tactical. You could get one of those Bradleys from the military. I bet you could get one for fucking $5,000, right? That's even better. You know, you got weapons ports, all kinds of things. If you had a standoff where you needed that kind of military protection, right? You guys don't think of how this hurts my entire population and how we all feel to see that. When you guys bought that, in the town council, oh yeah, cheers, oh yeah, we got to protect our police officers. Yeah, but you guys, that's exactly it. You're protecting police officers at the expense of the public. We, the people, didn't want that $400,000 spent on that armored car. Should have fixed the old one, right? Stick an LS motor in that baby. Hook the drive shaft up. I'm sure there's a local shop that could have done that for $5,000, right? And then you're still safe. You get an armored car. It's reliable as all get out. It has power. It'd be faster. That thing was military grade. That was a damn good one. I saw it at the parades. That thing was awesome. And now you got a fancy one that's not nearly as good, right? Sell that bloody thing. Get something better that costs less and buy something in town. I mean, the dealership over there that's floating on oil, the defunct dealership, nobody wants to buy it because it's an environmental disaster over there, right? You could put some oil wells through the floor and pump the fucking oil out from underneath of that and save your population from dying from cancer because of the oil that spilled under there. I think they said somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 gallons a week of oil from the lift poured into the ground over there. That's a mechanic that used to work there. That's what he told me. I talk to everybody in town. I'm a mechanic. I know all of these people, right? That building is floating on oil. It don't mean that it couldn't be used as a police substation. You can have a couple officers over there to control the homeless population. There's lots of room in the building. There's extra bathrooms and facilities, right? You could house me, the homeless, any of that stuff. They'd all have a place to go. It could be an open door warming shelter. The gathering place, that's pretty tight, right? You guys aren't looking at the big picture and how things need to change. The entire feel, look, and presentation of the Brunswick Police needs to change. All of the detective and the chief vehicles have no police markings. You should get the police badge that's on the doorway, stenciled out in white, and stick that right on the side to every one of those. Right? You got the badge stickers on some of the cars. They're like 4 or 5 inch. Even that would be enough. Right? So that could be identified as law enforcement. And, you know, put a light bar on it. You know, if they come upon a crash, you don't need the hidden light bars and lights in the windows and run around with your AI radar guns and stinger machines, reading people's phones and knowing the location of the auditor. Yeah, I really tricked you. Me and Dallas pulled the tricky on you last time. And I left my phone that you were tracking at O'Donoghue's. And I fucking drove around with my burner phone. And I caught you in 5 minutes. I was at a traffic stop. Both the officers had that look like, how come dispatch didn't tell us he was on his way? so we could have wrapped this up and he'd have had nothing to record. See, I know exactly what you do. You know when I get out of work now. So you have a little meeting at the police station for a few minutes. There ain't no police around patrolling or doing anything. Once in a while there is. But you shut everything down so that Bryce can go home. Right? So it's become useless for me to audit because you know that. Right? You've defied me and pulled all kinds of shitties that are unethical, immoral, in violation of your oath of office, being secret police and hiding everything, right? The honorable, ethical sheriff's office, I don't need to film those guys. Nobody needs to audit them. You can hear it on the radio, right? I've had no desire to go over there and film the SAG sheriff. It was a feel good. I knew the location because they have unencrypted radio. And I showed up and I had a great time with Hunter. Hunter is the shit. He's one of the best officers I ever met. Deputized me, with the junior SAG sheriff badge. That was a hoot. That made me happy. Despite the terrible things that have happened, watching my people go in handcuffs, I didn't want that. Should have never put handcuffs on. Didn't need to. She was compliant. She would have gone with you. You could have walked her right out there without those. And I thought they looked loose. But I don't know that. I don't know. I haven't talked to her. So I don't know. I don't know if those were put on ethically. Right? And Christopher Wallingbeck can testify that I cried like a little kid when I saw that. I don't want to see anybody go in handcuffs. That's the torture device. That's torture. You tortured her in front of me. There's no need of that shit. Go buy the soft cuffs today. We, the people, want soft handcuffs 99% of the time. Never a need for that shit. Except for the violent person out of control. My other auditor in Bath, one of her friends took an illicit drug, went nuts over there in Pittsburgh. The SAG sheriff showed up and she assaulted both of them. I could hear her on the scanner, "Get away from me," and all kinds of, she was screaming and hollering, carrying on. And I thought they did okay, and that they said they're taking her for an evaluation to the hospital. And I didn't think that there was officers were assaulted, but I'm told after the fact that guy ran the red light, count of 5. Dude, that you're on camera right there. Jeepers creepers, don't be late for work. Be on time. Right? You're on camera. You could have crashed into somebody. You can't stop quick. I understand that. But you were also going 30 miles an hour on Stanwood Street and had to roll through the light because of it. At a count of 5, it was red. 5 seconds. Everybody was smart at the other light and didn't move or go anywhere. So that's your mission today, Brunswick Police, is to order and get some soft cuffs And I want to see those on the belts of every single police officer, right? And if you want Mr. Cantrell to stop auditing you with such vigor, there's only a few things left you have to do. You put your body cameras on, right? That was my first requirement. I said it way back in July. That's one of the few things, couple more things, and I won't have to audit anymore. A 60-year-old man will not have to go and do audits. And I was encouraged by someone I met at the store. You got to keep on these guys until they comply and change. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Until they operate ethically, morally, and we can get the body camera videos when they do the wrong thing. Right? I'm not trying to be a mean bastard. I'm not trying to get officers fired. Right? How many times I've told that to Chris, right? I didn't want him fired. I wanted things corrected. Right? I told that to Westridge. It's not about getting the officer fired. I don't care about that. I want to have a conversation. I want this culture of tyrants hurting people in custody to end. Right? Stop torturing people with metal handcuffs and cutting the circulation off on their hands. Any more occurrences of that I find out, and I'm going to go in the police station, and whoever that officer is who unethically handcuffs my people of Brunswick, Maine, I'm going to citizens arrest him properly. And I'm going to get the Cumberland County Sheriff to meet me here, and that's what's happening. The next time somebody shows me a picture with those handcuffs, metal handcuffs dug in on their wrists when they've committed minor traffic infractions and shit, driving without a license, suspended is the gray area. They agreed to bail conditions not to drive. I understand that that's a situation, but they still shouldn't go in handcuffs. That was Zach Perry's friend last week who was arrested, and I understand that he had a suspended license, which means he agreed to a bail condition where he wouldn't drive. So he's wrong, right? And the officers did the right thing, but there's no need of putting him in handcuffs behind his back too tightly, and I don't know if they were too tight in this situation. But those are the things that got to change, and Mr. Cantrell will stay at home and work on his Batmobile 84 Z28. Got really cool options. I'm really excited to work on that. I want to get Kitty the Monte Carlo back working, put the cylinder head on that I've neglected to put on because I was too busy chasing the cops around, trying to get them to stop hurting my people. I have a passion for this, right? You acknowledged it in the letter March 22nd, right? No, I want you guys to operate ethically so that I can lay down in bed at night and listen to the scanner and not feel that I have to come down here on Union Street because the guy's been there an hour plus and then fell upon by Brian Funky and Zachary Huber, who searched his body after the dog sniffed, found no drugs. Right? And the Chief Stewart said that my complaint was unfounded. After they spotlighted me, refused to identify. I knew by the call letter it was Zachary Huber, or call number, when you're with your open air transmissions, right? When we had that open air transmission, I was only coming to multi-passenger OUIs, drug searches, because those are the ones, when you're asking for a drug dog, that means they did a search refusal, which is their right. They have a Fourth Amendment right to tell that guy, no, you can't search my vehicle. Everyone, every single one, should never allow an officer to search. It's your right. Exercise your right so they go away. Right? And if you don't have legitimate, probable cause to search their vehicle, not some big, that's why you don't answer questions. Don't tell them where you came from or where you're going. Because if you were coming from, I came from the hotel on Pleasant Street. Well, they happen to know there are drug dealers in those hotels that sell illegal salts. Right? Because it's been alleged that they are skimming the profits from them and allowing them to operate. 25% is what one of the druggies told me. Huh. That's weird. Why would the user level know that? Oh, they must know the actual dealer, right? And he's like, yeah, I got to pay those guys off so that they don't come here and arrest me. That's why there's been no big drug busts in Brunswick, Maine for a while. You got the one guy in the meth lab over in the trailer park, Bay Bridge Trailer Park. That was a good caller. And you got one guy down on Church Road. You got a good bust with a significant amount of product taken off the street. Kudos. Thank you. We all don't want to see people with needles sticking out of their arms slumped over at the laundromats on the live, and their loved ones searching for them and finding that kind of crap. Right? Do the right thing, boys. Load them damn cars up and take care of this shit. Right? I talked to that one user, and they told me where all of the drug houses that I'd been told about by other people were. It was like we were matching addresses. Back and forth, back and forth. You guys know where all the drug activity is. You know what's going on. Right? Go get one of your felonious search warrants and go in there and at least get the drugs off the street. Right? Be prepared for all the user levels to have to go to get some drug treatment. You might have to take a bunch of them if you stop enough of the drugs from coursing through our town. Right? All right, 7 o'clock. I'm going to stop and go somewhere else. Right? You got to look at me. I am the symptom of the disease, of the sickness that is the Brunswick, Maine police. Right? I would like to be able to come here with TV News 13 and shake the hands of every single officer. Thanks for getting all the drugs off the street. You guys are operating ethically, morally. You're using soft handcuffs. Right? I've advocated for this for 5 years. Become common law constables. Don't enforce policy. Don't impound people's vehicles that they live in ever again. Tell them to leave it in the lot at the new building that the town should purchase to house the homeless and put a police substation in. Sell the armored car, buy a cheaper one. Right? That wouldn't cost the city anything. I bet there's a property large enough to do what I'm talking about that's sitting around with the furnace running, where we can all lay down our heads and feel safe and secure. Right? You can have one patrol officer sit there all night. Be a good job for him. Right? I want you to encourage you to do more of the footbeat patrols in town. Right? And then a 60-year-old handicapped man will put his camera away. Right? I don't have to do this anymore. Right? I got a mad passion for you guys to stop being unethical, hurting people in the police car. Once those handcuffs are on, you're responsible for their medical condition and their life. And if they want a sip of water, you best be giving it to them. And if they want medical attention, you best be calling the ambulance. And not hotboxing them and turning the radio up. That's what you did to Tito Butterfass. And officers indeed joked on the radio and saying, yep, I buttered his face because of his name. I found that immoral, unethical, and sickening. They enjoyed punching him, roundhouse punching him to the face without identifying who they were, just ran around the storage unit and punching him in the eye. That's what he claims happened, and I believe him. Right? I know Tito's a wayward kid. Still want to do an interview if he's out of jail yet from the running away from police and crashing the car on Harding Machine Road in Bodenham. The SAG sheriffs, I'm sure, treated him right, ethically, morally. You know, he's a wahoo and sowing his wild oats and all of that stuff. Right? I'd love to meet you and do an interview. Live on camera would be good. You know, I understand, you know, people do wild and crazy things. I did some wild and crazy stuff. You know, we used to ask Don Hill, hey, can I do a burnout? He'd be like, pop the hood. He'd open the hood and show him your motor. He'd be like, holy shit, this thing must do big burnouts. Yep, can I do one? And Don would be like, well, all right, a little one. And then you get out on the street and you burn it for 60 feet. He wouldn't give you a ticket. He was friendly and personable. Right? That's the kind of policing we want. Right? Right? Nobody goes to your hot pursuit car show because you're evil tyrants. Right? Wouldn't it be great if I could drive my car over there and pop the hood and we could all shake hands and because you're doing ethical policing. This is a plea for you guys to do the changes. That's all I want. Right? Right? This is simple stuff. It doesn't cost any money to do most of it. Right? End your evil radio. Let the signal go out there. People were so sad that they could no longer listen to the Brunswick Police day-to-day operations because I put the camera to you guys. And I don't care what they say. Oh, it's just upgrading and this normal upgrading the system. Well, what about Saginaw Sheriff? That's digital. Can't pick it up on a regular scanner. Right? State Police Channel. Statewide, 155, 550. That's digital. You can listen to them all the way to Augusta. Shootings, all kinds of crazy stuff goes on. Because, you know, they have a terrible drug problem in Bangor and Augusta. You know, go get them, boys. That's what we want off the street. The powder that unalives people. Right? Any of those dealers out there, you need to stop. I know the money's good, but it ain't worth the risk. If people die from a product you sold them, and there's a way to trace it back to you, you can go to jail for killing that person. I posted that. Okay? You need to get drug treatment. You can have a drug treatment counselor in the building that I'm proposing be created in Brunswick, Maine. I'm an advocate for everybody, safety, including the officers. When Charles Thompson, the lady, hit him on his bicycle over there at Walmart and hurt his knee, and that's part of why he ain't working anymore. And the other part is he didn't agree with how management was operating in Brunswick, Maine. He's a good friend. and I've been chatting with him online, and you know, he's FOIA requested Todd Ridland speeding 95 miles an hour on the highway, assumably because he's late for work in his personal automobile, I believe, stopped by state police, and he slung his weight of being the commander in Brunswick to weasel his way out of the ticket. It's what I believe happened. I don't know that because they won't provide any records. There's no point in FOIA requesting it. And I knew that Charles already had. And we got patrol car leaving. Like I said, I got to stop this, but I think I got everything out that I wanted to say. You know what to do, guys. You want to make this old man stop doing this stuff, right? I'll probably still listen to the scanner, but you know, I know if there's an incident, I'll be able to get the body camera video, you know, and hopefully it exonerates the officer and the guy is lying about it, right? That's why you have those things on. It protects the officer. I applaud you guys for putting them on, but the other foot to make me stop is that you got to provide the evidence. Give that to TV News, Channel 6 News. Stefanski is my contact at News Center 6. She responds to me. Give her the video. Put it on the news tonight. Right? I know you can. I know you got copies of it. Doesn't matter that the DA has it. It's the ethical and right thing to do. You can blur the girl's face out. That would be understandable. Right? I'd even say, we all know who the officer is. You could blur all the officers' faces, and I probably wouldn't have a problem with that. But show the damn video. Right? That hurt the hearts of the Advanced Auto Parts employees, all the people shopping there. 8 or 10 people witnessed that. Some of them were outside and witnessed it. And poor Zach Perry, who had suffered by being overtaken by road pirates and his vessel taken away. His awesome wrecker, I rode in it, and he got me to Harpswell Auto Sales in 30 minutes when the Jeep broke last week. And I was on foot, unhoused and on foot. And he took me to work, and I didn't give him $1 until the next day. I didn't have any money left. It's expensive to be in your automobile and can't go home. Okay? You know, it's $10 for what I get every morning. All right, I gotta get going. All right, guys. Will Frazier, thanks for listening. Michael McNamara, you're the man. He's friends with Matt Nickerson for years, and they're good pals. Matt is one of the first officers to identify like a professional, and I honored him, and he has done it since, and he's called me Bryce T. Yeah, Bryce T in the house. Multiple times at multiple traffic stops on multiple videos. Kudos to Matt. Thanks. Appreciate it. I can't think of a single complaint about his policing. All right, guys. I'm out of here.